Qatari negotiators have presented Hamas with a framework for the potential release of Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Israel believes there are more than 100 hostages still in Gaza, but dozens may have been killed. CBS News foreign correspondent Debora Patta spoke with a mother who was abducted along with her 3 children on October 7th and spent nearly 2 months in Hamas captivity.
The fear that you feel when you hear the death is coming.
On October 7th, as Hamas militants stormed their kibbutz, Hagar Brodetz was hiding inside her home with her 3 children and their neighbor's 4-year-old daughter. In the chaos, she was separated from her husband, Avichai, who was wounded in the attack.
You thought your family was dead?
Yeah, I thought it was the end of them and, the end of me as well.
His family was taken to Gaza and held in a building above ground.
Did you hear the fighting?
Yeah. The house when we were stayed, it was collapsed from the IDF bombing.
And what did you say to your children? How do you give them hope?
I just told them every day it's going to be okay.
But it was not okay. Not only were they smack in the middle of the war, Hamas had told her her husband was dead.
So you spent all your time there grieving?
Yeah. I didn't cry because I couldn't cry. I have to take care of my kids. The kids were starving. I was sure that Israel will rescue me. But after you're staying there for such a long time with your kids, you lose your hope.
Avichai never gave up and inspired the campaign to bring them home now. On November 26th, when the family was finally reunited, the only one missing was Rodney, their beloved dog, until he showed up.
Wow. It's a moment that I will never forget.
You both share it, really. You thought you'd lost everything.
Yeah.
And then I got them back. It's just, I was living a miracle. How many people can say that they're living a miracle?
But it is not over. More than 130 hostages are still being held.
My family was brought back from hell. And they just stopped bringing back people. Who is to blame, if not the government that got us in this mess to begin with? And they're not doing enough.
But he believes his government has not done enough to bring the rest of the hostages back home. His question to them, what if it was your family in Gaza? What price would you pay? John?
Debora, you've spoken to other hostages, other hostage families as well. What other demands are you hearing from them?
John, a number of hostages I've spoken to, there's a shared frustration that the government is simply not doing enough in Israel, that their priority is not to bring the hostages back. And one person said to me, no price is too high to pay. Another person says that they believe that they're waging war at the expense of bringing their loved ones back, that in fact maybe Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is continuing the war so that he can stay in power. I mean, it's been nearly 4 months now. And others are saying that obviously Hamas is going to demand a price, that they didn't take hostages just to hand them back over, and that the government needs to understand that. And again, that refrain, no price is too high. A price will have to be paid, and the government is going to have to take stock of that. So a real sense of frustration that they weren't brought back sooner. In fact, many people said that they thought they'd have been returned within a week.
And what do we know, if anything, about this next possible deal they're working on?
Well, there is a deal on the table. It will involve some kind of extended ceasefire, at least 45 days. 6 weeks is being spoken about. Enough time, in a sense, to bring all the remaining hostages, around 130 still remaining. There's lots of posturing. Netanyahu has his red lines. He said he won't end the war, he won't remove soldiers from Gaza, and he won't release thousands of Palestinian prisoners. Hamas is studying it. They also have not commented yet. So it still hangs in the balance. But there is hope that maybe this time this deal will be realized. There'll be some kind of cessation of hostilities and a steady release of those remaining hostages.
Debora Patta for us in the steady pouring rain and lightning of Tel Aviv. Thank you.